Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here. Don't forget to subscribe. But today, I gotta tell you this. You're not actually talking to Keanu Reeves online, or Kevin Costner, or Scarlett Johansson, or any celebrity out there. You're just not, especially if you're listening to this or watching this. Now, there's a really interesting write-up on this in The Hollywood Reporter by Rebecca Keegan. And you may not know what's going on, but this is becoming a multi-billion-dollar industry because online scams, obviously they take many forms, but really there is one right now that is weaponizing celebrity fandom, and it's really getting scrutiny in the media as well as Hollywood as well. Now, scammers obviously are aided by things like artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, so it's very hard to trace their transactions, messaging apps that make it very easy to send fakes, operate undetected, like, think Telegram, Signal, all that kind of stuff. And believe me, Signal's very legit, but it can be used for bad things. And so essentially, the celebrities in the world, not to mention their talent agencies, are finding themselves in an escalating game of whack-a-mole, and they're hiring companies to essentially scan the web for fakes and try to get those accounts shut down. So, roughly 400 performers, including Scarlett Johansson, the rapper Common, Fran Drescher of the Nanny fame, basically have signed on to support legislation making its way through Congress called the No Fakes Act. Now, that seeks to create protections for things like artists' voices, likenesses, and images from unauthorized deep fakes generated by artificial intelligence and other means. This kind of reminds me of what Denmark is doing for all of their citizens by allowing them to copyright their faces and their likenesses and their voices, basically saying that's essentially intellectual property as well. So, if you think about it, though, celebrities among all of us are super easy to fake. There's millions of pictures, videos, etc., so it's very easy to deep fake them, and there is honestly a serious allure for many people who want to think that a celebrity would find them, interact with them, and at one point possibly fall in love with you, right? At least online. So, Erin West, who is a former prosecutor from Santa Clara, California in Silicon Valley, she specializes in high-tech crimes, told The Hollywood Reporter, and I quote, "The psychological hold they have over people is nothing like I've ever seen. It is cult-like. It absolutely overwhelms any type of reasonable thought. They were able to overcome what humans would normally discern to be a ridiculous situation," end quote. And yeah, think about it. If Keanu Reeves or Scarlett Johansson or anybody is messaging me, my spidey sense is going up. Like, I'm really not believing, that you are who you say you are. You're going to have to prove it in many different ways, right? So, Americans reported basically $672 million in losses due to confidence and romance scams last year in 2024. That's according to the FBI, with people over the age of 60 filing the most complaints and losing the most money, averaging $83,000 US per victim, which is an enormous amount of money. Imagine saving, for your retirement for decades, literally, only to have it ripped off because you think you're talking to Keanu Reeves. And I'm trying not to laugh, but it's just so ridiculous. But people fall for these things. It's absolutely nuts. And for the record, that also doesn't include those people that are too ashamed to actually admit this and go to the cops. They're legion. That average could be way higher, and we know that the victims are way more. Many companies don't report data breaches in the same way that if somebody gets basically ripped off because, oh my God, I feel so stupid, I really thought I was talking to Kevin Costner or whoever, and now here we are, right? And so, listen what happened to Rebecca Keegan, the author of this piece, when she decided to run an experiment on herself. And I quote her directly. "I decided to make myself look like an ideal target, creating a fake social media profile of a woman I named Linda. I used AI to age up one of my selfies and invented a beloved dead husband named Bob and a scruffy terrier mix named Milo. I then followed a bunch of pop culture accounts. Within 90 minutes, an account named Keanu Reeves 68667 was DMing me, wanting to know how long I'd been a fan. Since Speed, I answered. Within 2 hours, 4 more Keanus had slid into my DMs, as had 2 Kevin Costners, a Charlie Hunman, and a Jonathan Rumi. I don't know who any of these people are. I continue. The actor who plays Jesus on the Christian TV series The Chosen. Although I followed accounts for Dolly Parton, Oprah Winfrey, and Sandra Bullock, most of the scammers who targeted me over the next 6 weeks were impersonating male stars over 50. Keanu Reeves is 60 years old, Kevin Costner 70, Rumi 51, which experts say is the demographic of celebrity most likely to be imitated in these type of scams, end quote. And think about it. Yeah, I mean, if you're preying on vulnerable adults, let's say over the age of 60, you're going to want to be age appropriate. You're not going to go in, as a 20-year-old starlet or whatever. I mean, maybe that works on guys. I don't know. But if you're looking at the males trying to attract older females, a 20-year-old star is not going to go after like a 70-year-old woman. But 60? That's in the ballpark, right? So it's really interesting. And now, by virtue of that, as I mentioned, out of the gate, a cottage industry has grown up around this. Now, there's a 3-year-old company out there called Loti, Loti. And so the real Keanu Reeves pays Loti or Lottie a few $1,000s a month to find his imitators and get companies like TikTok, Meta, aka Facebook, Instagram, etc., to shut them down. And so by the time that Keanu Reeves 68667 was DMing our author of the Hollywood Reporter piece, Rebecca, Lottie had basically issued nearly 40,000 takedown account orders on Keanu Reeves alone in the past year. In other words, he's been spoofed 40,000 times, meaning the scammers have impersonated him 40,000 times trying to get money out of unsuspecting victims who actually think they're talking to the Matrix star. That's absolutely insane. So Lottie performs this same service for other types of public figures. So like, 4-star generals that are high profile, athletes, CEOs, anybody that's going to be in the news. And Lottie, for the record, also has a free version that'll allow you to do 5 takedown requests a month. So obviously, most of us don't have a problem, with being faked online in the way that like a major public figure, like a celebrity or a CEO or an NBA star would. But if we're on the internet, we're vulnerable to our likeness being used in scams. Not to mention there are deep fake porns out there, unethical advertising, all these different kinds of things. And so I think overarchingly supporting the No Fakes Act is a good thing. I think, though, everybody should get that protection. Just like in Denmark, we should have the ability to copyright our faces, our voices, our likenesses, all that kind of stuff, not just high-profile people like celebrities, although I do understand they're targeted more. So I found this to be really interesting. I found this also to be really disturbing as well. And so I'm telling you right now, if you think that you are DMing with Scarlett Johansson or Keanu Reeves or take your celebrity pick, you're not. You're just not. Odds are you're not, especially if you're, again, watching this YouTube video or listening to my radio show or listening to the podcast, you're probably not doing that. And I hate to say it, but we're all not talking to them. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please, please, please attempt to stay private, secure, and online. Take care.